Welcome to Crimson Guitars, welcome to the patrons vlog. And I don't know what number it is because, oh no, there we go. We're in vlog 56. That I am getting some sense of accomplishment from that. I'm sitting down, I'm about to film the What's on the Bench a little bit later and I have a thumping headache. So it's very weird sitting down at work. For me at least. Okay, question from A1 Base. How come you guys cut the headstock directly out of the neck blank rather than using a scarf joint to create the break angle? Is this just a function of speed? Are there any benefits to doing it the classical way? Okay, so I'm going to assume by the classical way you mean a scarf joint, which was, your question was answered by Ivan Shank, who then said a lot of reviewers claim scarf joints make a stronger neck due to the grain, which isn't actually true. It is a stronger joint because there's a glue joint, and glue is stronger than wood, and if it's well done, then okay. Hey, how you doing? Good. You take a piece of wood, you cut a diagonal cut through it at whatever angle you want the headstock. This piece goes either underneath, which means that your headstock veneer is over the joint, over the end of the joint, or you end up with the joint between the second and third fret generally. That one, where you've got a fretboard gluing over both parts, is, I think, stronger. Neither of them, however, are attractive. If you are making a guitar out of a single piece of wood, you carve the neck and the headstock and the break angle and all of that out of one piece of wood, you don't have any joints, you don't have to worry about anything, and it looks attractive. If you are making a guitar out of a multi-laminate, then I think it's an egregious sin to do a scarf joint unless you perfectly match it up, which is possible. Except for the fact that on most multi-laminate necks, instead of having parallel pieces of wood, I will angle the central section to give it that sense of forward movement and momentum. Now, so from my point of view, one, it is faster. It is faster to cut it out of a single piece of wood. You're not messing around with slippery neck joints or gluing or planing or any of that jazz. So if your time is more valuable to you than wood, then buy a slightly bigger piece of wood and do it out of one piece. We obviously buy wood, not quite by the tree, but pretty damn close. And we cut our neck blanks in such a way it's not wasting too much wood, but we can get out of one blank two guitar necks. And if you do it that way, it works out rather well, and it's fairly efficient, and it's much quicker. Scarf joints, and obviously you can make a multi-laminate neck however you need to use as little or as much wood as you have to. So yeah, scarf joints are okay. They do the job. They are strong, if not stronger. I think that's debatable, but from my point of view, it really is about speed and production and attractiveness, really. It's got everything I need. Okay, so James Barrett, he says, Ben, if one wanted to build a guitar using only hand tools, acoustic or electric, what would be, I was told not to read this question before doing this, what would be your recommendations for the minimal tooling through to a full-up studio tool setup? Frankly, looking at the walls of tools behind you is just a tad intimidating. It's not supposed to be intimidating. It's me flexing on you. No, no, that is intimidating, isn't it? But I still love that you take the time to actually use hand tools to create such works of luthier art. Thank you, mate. Also, thanks for the shout out and the mug that I sent you. It's a pleasure. Of course, the one I have in front of me is not yours. Yours is over there. So, James, thank you for the mug. It's awesome. It says, close is only good in hand grenades Oh, come on, and thermonuclear weapons is another one. Horseshoes, hand grenades, and thermonuclear devices. And tactical thermonuclear weapons. I love it. And it's true, because especially in guitar building, etc., close enough is not really close enough. It's got to be perfect. I hope that all of that ionizing radiation has given you a creative boost when you drink your beverage of choice from it. Lol. Okay, so I collect tools because I love them. There is something so incredible about picking up. This is a box with shoulder blades minus a blade at the moment. This is 100-year-old, probably actually a little bit more than that, tool that is fully functional and can be, with a little bit of work because I need to find a blade, could be put to use, and there we go. Flight mode. I completely forgot. Sorry. And done. I mean, it really should be. And it's so cool. So do I need it? No. I don't use shoulder planes in guitar building very much. Do I need half of those planes? No, not really. Do I like them? Oh, hell yes. I have 40 or 50 carving gouges there and more over there. And I collect hammers. Why do I collect hammers? I don't know why I collect hammers. I love them. I don't have any cool ones quite close to hand, and I'm enjoying sitting down. So you don't need as much as I have, but you do need some. Now, the absolute minimum, hand tool wise, I think I just felt the headache tablets kick in. Or maybe it's just my excitement over hand tools that's got the blood rushing to my head. Hand planes are essential. And it is really, really, really important that you spend the time playing with the tool, playing with your hand plane, sharpening it up, setting it up. If you are using a tool and it feels like hard work, if you're having to physically push through, then it's not sharp enough, or it's not set up properly, or it's a bad tool. Okay. And I hate the thing a bad worker blames his tools, because that is total bull twaddle. What was that? It's rubbish. It's total rubbish. If a good worker has a bad tool, he can sometimes make it work, but it's much, much harder than it should be. And I'm not saying go out and buy a 300 quid Lia-Nielsen plane or Veritas, or unless you go to vintagetoolshop.com, where I have a Veritas 4.5 for sale right now. You don't need to. Yeah, I do. I bought a basically brand new Veritas 4.5. It's, I think, a 250 quid plane, 300 quid plane, something like that. And functionally, apart from the fact that it's got an adjustable mouth, it is, I don't think, any better than a good, well set up 40 quid Stanley or Record 4.5 plane. Really. If you get a good one with a nice tight mouth. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying go out and buy incredibly expensive tools. I'm saying take the tool you've got, make sure that it's solid to start with, do a little bit of research, and then set it up and fettle it until it works properly. Sometimes the blade won't be good. Sometimes your sharpening technique won't be up to scratch, and work on these things. If you're working too hard, don't use it. Okay, now very quickly, you need a block plane, preferably a low angle block plane with blade adjustment forwards and backwards, and really preferably, so something like that's 20 or 30 quid. So that would be a Stanley 220 or a Record 0220. Or even better yet, you would get a low angle block plane, which works best for end grain. It works good on everything as well as end grain. But the nice thing about the low angle block planes and the 9.5 and the 16.5 planes is you also have an adjustable mouth. So on the front part of the sole, you can open or close that. And the tighter the mouth, the finer the shavings. Okay. Or if you're trying to take huge shavings, you open it out and just wail on it. So a block plane, a number 4 or a 4.5, depending on how chunky you are, how big your hands are, and how strong you are, or maybe a 3. I used to love 4.5s, and I went down to 4s, and now I use 3s. I love my number 3. It's the same sort of thing, and that's a general working plane for just taking a lot of material away. And then you need a jointer, and for guitar building, at minimum, you need a 6. Preferably, I would say go and get a number 7, and that's a nice long plane, and your plane needs to be about the same, if not a little bit longer than the longest joint that you are likely to do regularly. So a number 7 is a little bit longer than a guitar body by 10 centimeters or so, and probably 10 centimeters shorter than the average neck. And it's perfect. With those 3 planes, you can do anything really that you need to do guitar building wise. You need an 1/8", 1/4", 1/2 inch, and probably inch wide bevel edged chisel for preference. You need probably 1 paring chisel, so that's say a 1/2 inch. It's a longer chisel, allows you to get into the middle of the guitar when we're nice and flat. 1 or 2 gouges, maybe a number 6, 3/4 of an inch wide, something like that. And then the general screwdrivers, drill bits. You cannot build a guitar without, these are the electrical tools, a good, I think you can't do it without a good hand drill. You probably could, but it wouldn't be fun. A router. and a bandsaw of some sort. Either a bandsaw or a good jigsaw. If you're working in a kitchen, even a Festool jigsaw would be fantastic. With a long cutter on it, you can go through and do precise cuts. You can cut a whole body out without a bandsaw. Now, a fully set up studio, just, everything and anything. Oh, and of course, this is Crimson Guitars. I haven't thought to advertise our tools at all, which is a bit silly. You obviously do need some specialist tools. A hammer is a hammer. You can use any hammer to do frets, but ours are better because it's a softer head and it's designed for what it's designed for. But there are some things that you just cannot replace. You need a perfectly flat leveling beam or leveling file, and you can't just put sandpaper on anything. By perfectly flat, I mean it's perfectly flat. Your spirit level is not going to be perfectly flat, not by a long shot. We're talking probably 0.5 millimeter or 1 millimeter deflection across its length. Don't try and use that to level frets. Get something that's right for the job. Notch straight edge, nobody else makes them. They really are as good as they are said to be. Crowning files, again, we've customized these files or have them custom made to our specifications for a reason. Companies don't make these things. You can't go down to a hardware store and buy a file that will be good for crowning off the bat. You will have to do 2 or 3 hours worth of work on it, period. So, I mean, that's the specialist tools. I would say at a bare minimum, the Essential Fret Leveling Toolkit that we sell here. And that is a leveling beam, fret rubbers, crowning file, fret end dressing file, I think is included in that as well. And with that, you can then do the basics of fret leveling, etc. And everything else on there is gravy. It's such a big question. The headache's coming back. Moving forward, bandsaw, spindle sander. I love my spindle sander. The first machine I bought for when I first started doing this, the first big purchase was a spindle sander. It makes sanding the sides and end grain, etc. so much easier when it's well set up. I mean, shit, this deserves a whole video series, let alone a quick answer in a thing. I use my Dremel a lot. You need clamps, you need Allen keys. You need a fret slotting saw. I'm just looking around at everything around me. You need it all. You just do. So there goes. Okay, a couple more questions. Please excuse me. Okay. This is a question from Stephen Tuttle saying, Ben, have you thought about or tried water-based lacquers? They are safer. I've used water-based on several guitars. The oldest was a 2005 and it's still going strong. Another type, what type of resin do you use? I found some tend not to hard enough to work with wood. Thanks. To work with light wood, sorry. So Stephen was using Crystalac Bright Tone. Okay. We are currently using Ecopoxy. It is expensive stuff, but by gum does it work very well. So that's that. We have tried various different brands and are still experimenting. So yeah, watch this space. I'm still relatively new in the whole resin field. With regards to water-based lacquers, yes, I have played around with it before. I've never been 100% happy with the look. It always looks a little bit cloudy to me. I don't know if that's just the way we've done it. At the moment, we're using, I think, polyurethane. We're using 2-pack lacquers. And yes, I am lucky. I have a full spray booth. I have everything required to do it safely and quickly and all that jazz. If I was doing it in a garage, or if I was doing the spraying on my own and I didn't have this entire setup, I would consider water-based myself again. And I haven't given it serious thought in years. So yeah, if you're happy with it, you're happy, use it. Okay. Robert Livingston's just flexing on me here, saying I just bought a 102-inch, 2.1 inches thick by 16-inch wide blank of wood for $100. Turns out it was Brazilian rosewood. Dude. Okay, I'm gonna call that for today because I'm feeling really ill actually. So I'm gonna go and deal with that, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. I will. Well, unless this headache kills me, I'll see you next week. Cheers.